anything that goes against our forests, they do not like. Daraboso is the deputy director at the Rocha. He joins us now. Let's take his view on the progress being made. They've been also at the forefront of the fight against galamsey and the destruction of our forests. Hello, Darrell. Good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News. The minister appears to be talking tough and be moving, and he's moving. How does this, latest step come to you? Revocation of all small-scale mining licenses issued after December 7. That should be some progress that should make you happy, no?
Yeah, good evening to you, Solomon. And I think, yes, I definitely agree with you. We must commend the minister for taking some of these bold steps. I mean, we've always been on anticipating that these things will be done. First of all, it is very good to hear the ministry come out to say clearly that they are revoking all licenses issued after December 7. And I think that is very necessary because, I mean, we've had issues with the licensing regime, the issues with due diligence, and also the manner in which within a short time somebody can apply and then be able to get without going through the necessary, sometimes environmental impact assessment and all of that. So it is very good to hear the ministry take this step. But I think we also want to avert their minds to the fact that it is not only small-scale mining that needs critical audit and assessment. We also need to pay a very big critical assessment of the large-scale mining companies that are also mining in our forest reserves. We know that there are some mining companies that are currently very active in our forest reserves. Let's get into it and make sure that we do an audit to ascertain whether they got the licenses very legitimately or through some other dubious means. Let's do that as well so that it's not just a small-scale miners that are affected. Again, it is good to also hear the ministry talk about reviewing the community mining scheme. We have always said that was not needed. It only gave the opportunity for people within government or within the previous administration and the rank and file of the party to go and register concessions in the name of communities that they don't even stay there. So it is good that these issues are also coming to light, and it's taking steps to really review some of these things. We need to really spend time, and I'm very happy about these steps, but I think what is important is that, look, how are we going to enforce some of these things? And at the end of the day, if we talk tough and we don't ensure that people are complying and there's due diligence, even when you say you're looking at community mining cooperatives, where are these cooperatives going to operate? Are they going to operate on people's farms, within rivers in the communities? I believe that we are going to have a new guideline very soon to really clarify all of these things and how these very cooperatives are going to work. So I think it's very good steps, and maybe early days yet, and let's wait and see how all of these things take shape as the government takes steps to really enforce and ensure that the right things are done. We are really happy to really follow and support throughout the process.
I see. The minister also said that they were on full steam. They were revoking all manner of licenses or some licenses, and that they had reclaimed some of our forest reserves and that they were on course to reclaim all. That also should be something Arocha will be happy about.
Yes, I think it's good. The last time we had the minister talk about the state of our forest reserve, particularly where he mentioned that 44 forest reserves were seriously impacted by galamsey, and out of that, 9 of them were not even within the control of the Forestry Commission. That was very, very disturbing. So to see that they are taking steps to actually take possession, that's how I want to say it. They're taking possession of the management of these forest reserves and able to get rid of the illegal miners out of. I think that is very good to really know. But that means that we now need to move in and see how we can restore these forests. But I think this is still baby steps, I would say, because there's still a lot more to do. We need to make sure the miners don't return, as has been the case when the miners are cleared from the area. Within a few hours, a new group goes back there. So these are things we still need to keep an eye out for and make sure that we don't have a reoccurrence of this development. I think it is still early days, and like I said, baby steps. There's still a lot more we need to do. But definitely we need to commend Honorable Emmanuel Amabua for being this bold and taking these critical steps.
But really, I mean, revoking all licenses issued after December 7. I mean, the fact that these people have licenses makes them some legal miners. But of course, I know a chunk of the problem is with the illegal miners who have no license at all. It does appear that we are tackling those who may have a semblance of a license, no matter how they procured it, and leaving the people who are really illegal. Do you have that sense?
No, I think there is every cause to really do an audit for all the licenses that are currently active in the country. Knowing how some of these licenses were abused, people just got these licenses because they know a friend in government or their brother or relative is maybe is a person of high position in government, so they got these licenses. And if you listen to the minister, they revoked these licenses just due to procedural irregularities. And that is why I think that there's therefore the need to really revoke them. Now, the question that we all need to be asking is that if these licenses were issued with all of these tainted issues around them, then why is the CEO of the Minerals Commission still at post? I think that's also another big question that we need the minister to respond to, because it's not only about accountability for the miners who got their licenses through very dubious ways, but also the person who issued those licenses to them in the first place. So we want to make sure that accountability is complete. So we also need to look at whoever is issuing the licenses and why they allow these irregularities to happen in the first place. So I think there shouldn't be anything wrong with revoking them for as long as there were issues with the way the licenses were acquired in the first place.
I see. My concern really was that the illegal miners the proper galamseyers, we are not really hearing much about what is being done to them to stop the havoc they are causing. But we are hearing that licenses are being revoked. The point I'm making is that licenses, no matter how they were acquired, whether they follow due process or not, are licenses, and it's fine that they are revoking them. But what happens to the guys who don't have license at all, and they are still causing havoc, to our forest reserves and to our water bodies?
No, I agree with you. Your concern is very legitimate. It looks like the government is taking it step by step, but I don't want to be their spokesperson. I want to believe that we will soon also be hearing from them how these actions. But first of all, knowing who is legitimate operating where also helps you to weed out all those who are illegal. So I guess that is the angle that they are going to come from. But one can never tell. But you definitely have a point that we are now focusing on those with licenses. What about those who are operating without license at all? And I think that the team needs to be on the ground and start now shining their light on all the various people who are. But the best way to do it is come from the angle of knowing who is on the ground, whether anybody, for example, in the Kochoku area, if there's any legitimate license in that area, knowing how many are there, then you can then decipher who shouldn't be there and who should be there. So I guess it's a matter of approach, and eventually, hopefully, they get to that end.
Very well. Thank you so much, Darrell. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTM. Yes, Darrell Bosu is Deputy Director at Rocha Ghana. It's a conservation NGO, and they have great interest in preserving our forests and water bodies. Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTM.